Good morning, employers. I had a great idea last night. I thought, what about creating YouTube videos that showcase things I would discuss in an interview or things that I would discuss on my resume? And I thought that's such a great way for employers to, instead of dragging me into an interview to figure out that they didn't like something about me, to maybe look at it on a video and kind of decide, if they wanted to bring me in from there. And I think it might save everybody's time. And I'm always about saving time. So, in a general sense, my name is Dan Malloy. Um, Grew up from meager means. Had to work really hard and get scholarships and stuff to go to college, which I did pull off. A 4-year IT degree. Very proud of that. It's from the University of Phoenix, and I graduated in 2005. And I've always had a deep, deep passion for information technology, technology just in general. It's kind of funny. I've always kind of considered myself a technology generalist, or as I like to call it, a technologist. So I have a lot of experience with obviously computers, computer systems, networking, database applications, the whole gamut. Knew a lot about this stuff before I even took the 4-year degree. So it was very, very easy for me to go into the 4-year degree. I was always kind of the teacher's assistant in my classes because I kind of knew this stuff before I even went into classes, and then I would always help people to understand things in a very simple way. I always strive to make technology very simple for people. I love it when everybody can revel in the coolness of the tech. I don't ever like anybody to be excluded from it. I try to make it as simple and as accessible to people as possible. So basically, my beginnings was such a funny story. I was in like the 10th grade, I think it was, and I had my first computer programming class, and it was just in BASIC before it was like, Visual Basic or anything that it is today. And it was, numbered lines, line 20 and line 10, 20, 30, 40, and like, if, X bigger than 5, go to line 50, is that kind of stuff. And I looked at that and I thought, man, this looks way boring. Like, I'd never been into this kind of stuff. But as the years went on, the technology kind of grew and changed and morphed into like visual websites. Eventually, .NET came down the pike, and things kind of really started to change when we went to like a client-server infrastructure, which we never really had before. It was always just kind of peer-to-peer. So that being the case, I kind of fell in love with websites. I absolutely love all applications programming, but I really, really enjoyed the visual aspect of websites and all of the technology that brings about all the great graphics and the snazzy videos and stuff that we see online. I kind of had the foresight to see down the road when I was younger in my 20s that in the future, most places that sold things were probably going to do it online. And that the brick and mortar places would probably be a thing of the past because it's kind of expensive to maintain a building and things like that. So now here we are, pretty much watching as all the brick and mortars go away and they're all going online. And I still know in my heart of hearts that there's a lot of work to be done for the infrastructure for people to basically be able to sell things online. One of the greatest projects that I was involved in my time at a place called Life West Chiropractic College when I was there in 2009. I made basically a WAMP server application, which is a whole conglomeration of different programs that come together to make an entire web application. So front end, back end, middle tier, the whole gamut. Basically can take information, data values from the front end, and then sanitize them, and then pass them into a database, and then basically be able to, once those values are in the database, communicate with PayPal servers and other servers that may do payment processing that will send back packets and basically let your server, your application know that the payment's been processed for your widget. So at Life West, I basically created this whole system for them for the students to apply online. And it was, in essence, this. The student would log in, they'd create an account, log in, they would fill out the application page by page. Sometimes I was able to put in little codes that would keep them from having to pay at the end that I would also install into the database so that when the application hit the database, it would pull the code and know that the student didn't have to pay. But I set it up to work with PayPal so that as soon as a student had filled out an application and hit submit, it would basically payment process to PayPal, and then PayPal would send back a packet that would say whether it had been paid or not. And then we could update the database, and that would update the application. So the next time the student went to go log in, maybe they couldn't log in because they'd already finished the application, they'd done the payment process portion of it, and it was now closed to them. So this is a great example of one of the best applications I created in all of my years of working in tech. And then that was such a great application that it got extended into other areas of LifeWest, like they had a clinic where they would have folks come in and get chiropractic care. I ended up creating HIPAA compliant forms, it's hard to say, HIPAA compliant forms for both the customers to come in, the clients to come in and fill out, give their information, their medical information. And then a backdoor admin page for the people in the clinic to go in and actually pull the information for the folks that had filled out the forms to be in the clinic. So I ended up being the forms master in my time at LifeWest. It was so great. And I ended up implementing this WAMP server model in various different departments and came up with a lot of forms for a lot of different departments. So that's a quick little rundown, a brief history of Dan Malloy's experience from basically like the age of 20 until now. Thanks for listening.